Welcome back to Shane's Main Shop. Today, I'm working on making this cutting board here. Now, I did have to do some repair work because I didn't get the glue in there. I don't know what happened. But anyways, I'm just going to talk about different sanding options here. Now, I got this Shopmate. This is an old belt sander. It's a nice one, nice and rugged, but it is an older one. And then I got this small palm size vibrating sander as well. No, you could use this to sand, but you're going to be a long time. This is good for like small work or finish work after the fact. But I'm going to use this. Now, this is not what I'm not recommending using a belt sander to do a cutting board. I'm just showing how I would use a belt sander, because really you should run this to a planer to get it down nice and flat. But in my case, I'm just going to use this to show you, and then we'll finish up with this. But if you want to take off a lot of wood fast, then a belt sander is the way to go. For some applications, not all. And I can show you a few different variations of belt sanders too. Let me just plug this one in and show you. The key thing to this is to keep it moving, because it's, it can take a lot of wood off fast, and you don't want to mess things up. So let me just plug it in real quick and just show you what it does. Always consult your owner's manual. Make sure you wear your protection and all that good stuff. This is just entertainment purposes only, but it will get the job done. Now, a couple key things to remember. As best you can, go with the grain of wood, and make sure you keep your belt nice and flat. If you start to tip it one way or the other, it will dig in very fast. But you can see this is really starting to clean it up, getting the big stuff down and out of the way quickly. And then you can move on. I'm not there yet, but then you can move on to something like this here, and I'll show you how that works too real quick. This is really more for finish work, and I got a much higher grit on this, and I would go even higher than this to finish. But the difference is with a belt sander, this is when you pull the trigger, this is rotating like this and doing the sanding and spinning around like a belt. This is doing an orbital motion like this, and just kind of, basically mimicking what you would do with your hand, only a very high pace, high speed. And that's how it does the same. Then you move it around as well. So this gives it a much smoother finish when you're done, and then you can have a good finished product, because this is going to be very rough. So that's a couple different sanders. Let me just show you a few other belt sander options as well. This is a handheld one that you would take around with you, but we have a couple stationary ones too. So over here we have this large one here. Let me just bring the lens out here a little bit. So we have this one here, but it's got these sides, so you are limited to whatever would fit in between here, obviously. And you can't do like a wider item and move it back and forth. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But yeah, this thing spins in this direction here. And it's a nice big belt for doing longer stuff. Very handy, but again, most people are not going to have something like this, but you certainly would have, or could have, if you're starting out, a belt sander like that one over there. Then we have this option here. This is a smaller one. Don't use this one too much, but it's also another, belt sander. It, again, just as handy as the other ones. Don't use this one very much at all, really. It needs a new belt too. It's in real bad shape. But a very good little sander for sure. But it's a stationary, like a benchtop one. And last but not least, we have this combo belt sander / disc sander. I got it at Parks, and I'm getting ready to put a new disc on here, because this one is worn out. So you can see the motor's down there, and it runs this shaft in behind here that spins the disc part here, as well as the belt part right here. Now this one you can see is open up here, like that small one was too, but this is a wider one. It's open, so if you had something wider, you can kind of go back and forth with it carefully. But again, if you lean one way or the other, you will ruin your product. It'll dig in. But if you're doing something wider, you can move around on this. But you can't on that one because of the sides. And this one spins in this direction and is a very handy tool. You can sand over here on the wheel if you're trying to get a curve, stuff like that. So yeah, so that's a few options if you're considering getting a belt sander. But I would definitely say start out with just a small hand belt sander, just like this. You can do a lot with it. I've actually had times where, not this one, but I have another one that I can actually clamp down to the bench upside down, and it can double as like a bench top one. I wouldn't do this one so it's all plastic and there's no good clamp down spot, but you can do that, and then you get yourself a very small bench top belt sander. All right, I hope this video helps you out. I'm going to get back to sanding this cutting block down and move on to another project. But if you have any questions about belt sanders and different things, please put them in the comment section. I'd be happy to try to help you out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, come back often for more videos, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe in the workshop, and make sure you read your owner's manuals.